Griner, number 22, Kaitlyn Clark.
She's got one of the hottest selling jerseys in sports, y'all. According to Fanatics, led by the one and only Michael Rubin, Clark's Indiana Fever jersey is apparently sold out in all sizes.
Since Kaitlyn Clark joined the club this season, the Indiana Fever have released some startling statistics on the growth of their brand. One specific video viewing data is quite eye-opening.
But in addition to the jersey sales, Clark now has an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike that will include her own signature shoe. The deal is the richest sponsorship contract for a women's basketball player. She deserves it. She deserves it. Now let me say something to all the ladies out there. Somebody coming along and elevating the sports shine ultimately benefits you. Go out there, compete with her, try to bust her up if you want to, and all of that stuff. Just don't hate on the acclaim that she's getting.
Which is well-deserved. It was shocking to discover that despite all the Fever's posts, there was a noticeable paucity of content featuring Clark.
Apparently, all the accolades that Kaitlyn Clark is receiving is because she's white, and the jealous players who are attacking her are really the real victims here.
I just love that she tries to stay grounded, and she says she doesn't, what did she say, she doesn't have a social, she doesn't look at her social, and I get it, I don't either, and I think it's so important to continue to do what she's doing, and no matter what other people do, then if people are negative, it's because they can't do what you do.
If it were up to me, almost everything would focus on her. However, the Fever disclosed outstanding figures on fan engagement this season, which serves as another reminder that Angel Ree and Aya Wilson are the ones making a difference.
Honestly, I think work really hard, have dreams, chase them, but also there's going to be moments that are really hard and there's going to be moments that are great. That's what every single person goes through in their life, whether you want to be a professional athlete, whatever you want to do, there's going to be moments of hardship and then a lot of amazing moments, but that's what makes, the moments of really great time, that's what makes it so amazing. So I think don't let anybody tell you can't do something. You can achieve whatever you want in life. I think especially for young girls, have confidence. I think that's something a lot of young girls struggle with is confidence, and lucky enough, I have parents that instilled confidence in me. I grew up playing basketball with the boys.
No way I get her autograph. She's such a not at all. The Fever or gear ing up for the second half of the WNBA season. After the All-Star and Olympic break this year, they have significantly elevated fan engagement throughout the league. The Fever currently lead in attendance for both home and away games, with over 186,000 fans attending home games since the season began in May, marking the highest total in the franchise's history.
You might remember this scene from Monday's Elite Eight postgame in Albany. We had it live here on CBS 2 and Fox 28. That girl getting her shoes signed by Kaitlyn, and that's the appropriate reaction.
On Saturday, I was like, there's no way I get her autograph. She's such a big deal. There's going to be people lined up down there. It's insane. But on Monday, I was determined. I was saying before the game, I'm going to get this autograph. It's going to happen. And everybody's like, I hope you do. I got down there and I was wearing Nike Blazers.
An astonishing 265 rise from last year. 4 home games have broken new single game records for merchandise sales at the Gamebridge Fieldhouse team store, which has experienced a stunning jump of over 1,000% in net sales when it comes to social media involvement. The Fever leads the league in both new followers and overall followers.
You came last night.
Yeah.
You're a Mystics fan.
Yeah.
But I see the Indiana shirt. So what are we doing here?
I like Kaitlyn Clark more.
Since April, they have received over 800 million video views on all platforms, surpassing WNBA, NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB teams in terms of video consumption.
It's the way she is off the court that makes her a role model.
I think that was the most kids we've really had all season today. The tunnel was just packed with kids, and I try to make time to high five every single one of them, and that's really what it's all about, inspiring the next generation, and I think our team does a tremendous job.
When your video views surpass those of the WNBA, NBA, or NFL, entities that usually rule supreme, that's pretty astounding. I've been arguing that Kaitlyn Clark might be the largest sports personality in the nation, and this data definitely supports that claim.
I feel like I was just that little girl. Like, I grew up around the game. I was those little girls. I was always begging my dad to take me to basketball games, college basketball games. No matter what it was, really, I always wanted to be around the
The thing
game.
I'm most proud of is how humble she's remained through it all.
With 38 national TV games this season, the Fever are leading the WNBA. 10 of their broadcasts on networks like ESPN on CBS and NBA TV have already set network audience records. In fact, one of their games became the most watched WNBA matchup in 23 years.
I loved it. I thought it was so fun. The atmosphere was amazing. It's the first time I had seen Clark play in person. I wish she made more than a couple threes. She was 2 of 10, I think, from distance. But her playmaking ability was what really impressed me. What was it? 12 assists, 9 rebounds, just one shy of the first ever career triple-double for a rookie in the WNBA. The fans were excited. I just love the excitement and the positivity that continues to build.
The 800 million video views are truly amazing. But how can anyone claim that other players in the league are to blame for this growth? The statistics clearly show that attendance and ratings don't support that narrative, and the actual revenue from fans willing to pay more to see Kaitlyn Clark is significant and speaks volumes. Kaitlyn Clark has also shared her thoughts about potentially joining Angel Reese in the new women's basketball league, Unrivaled. This league aims to give WNBA players the opportunity to earn enough during the off-season so they won't have to play overseas. Unrivaled will feature 30 players in a 3x3 format with 6 teams, all based in Miami. Several well-known players as Reese Kelsey Plum and Jewel Lloyd will participate, and they've even signed a nil agreement with Paige Boers from UConn. While Clark hasn't ruled out playing in the league, she emphasized her current focus. Honestly, I'm just focused on this right now, one thing at a time, can't always simply be moving on to the next. My attention is right here, she stated.
But the fans were excited to see her. We got a competitive game to the final ticks, which is what fans really wanted.
According to reports, the league pays its players an average salary of $250,000, which is more than $100,000 more than what WNBA players normally make. Several top stars from the WNBA have opted to go overseas during the off-season to enhance their earnings, as the best players in the league make around $250,000 a season. A number of high-profile athletes, including Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, Nafisa Collier, and Brianna Stewart, formed the league, which has received financial assistance from Carmelo Anthony and Steve Nash. As for Clark, her focus is still on the WNBA, which is scheduled to start this week following the Olympic break. She has been crucial in reviving the Fever, who now have a 11-15 record and are in 7th place in the WNBA rankings, barely ahead of Chicago Sky. That's a classic, and I'm not prepared to respond to that at this time. I mentioned the other day that I doubt she'll join this league because she's not facing the same financial struggles that many of these players are now. Are any of these athletes in dire straits? Not really, since they're heading overseas where some are raking in $500,000 or even $1 million a year. For instance, Brittney Griner was reportedly earning over $1 million annually in Russia for 6 or 7 seasons before her imprisonment for cannabis oil.
I mean, I think just having experience under my belt, like coming in, we didn't have much practice at all. We've had more practice over the course of these last 2.5 weeks than we did really to start the season. So I think that just within itself, and then obviously we've already played 26 games. So I know they're calling it the second half of the season, but really there's only 14 games left to, make a difference in your record and make a playoff push for us. So I think that's the most important part, is like, really there's only a month. There's only a month, and every single game is going to matter for us. And luckily enough, we got quite a few of those at home, so you really need to focus down and be able to get quite a few wins.
She had been there long enough to understand the regulations, so I found it difficult to sympathize with her. What's interesting is how many players would select this new league over the rich offers they may still get overseas.
WNBA star Brittney Griner convicted today on drug charges in Russia. A judge sentencing her to 9 years in a penal colony. Griner, detained in Russia for more than 5 months, found guilty of intentionally smuggling vape cartridges of hashish oil into the country. She addressed the judge before the verdict was announced, holding a photo of her team in Russia, telling the judge she, quote, made an honest mistake. President Biden calling her sentence unacceptable, and the administration is again urging Russia to accept its prisoner proposal.
Sure, they might be offering $250,000, but if a country like China or Germany throws out a $750,000 deal, I think most would go for the higher paycheck. Then there's Paige Bookers, who's touted as the next big star entering the league. I personally doubt she'll make a significant impact, but much will depend on her performance in the NCAA tournament next year. The fact that she's already part of the league through a nil deal is interesting. If they want this league to thrive, they need to get Kaitlyn. Clark involved because based on the data it seems like viewership will be lacking without her to put things in perspective. Las Vegas Aces games are raking in about 500,000 people while the Indiana Fever are attracting approximately 2 million.
This is the moment Brittney Griner learned her fate. Standing in a cage in a Russian courtroom, hearing she's been sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison camp. Earlier, Griner emotional, saying she takes responsibility for illegally bringing vape cartridges containing cannabis oil into the country back in February, but stressing it was an accident.
I made an honest mistake, and I hope that in your ruling that it doesn't end my life here.
Griner choking up as she then apologized to her family and teammates in Russia and back in the U.S.
I want to also apologize to my parents, my siblings, my Phoenix Mercury organization back at home, the amazing women of the WNBA, and my amazing spouse.
During the trial, her lawyers argued there was no criminal intent, but the judge rejected that.
And let's not even get started on the Chicago Sky. They're not drawing much attention. Either it's just the way it is when it comes to video views. The Fever are outpacing the NFL, which is impressive, and content related to Kaitlyn Clark gets 5 to 10 times more views than anything NFL related. I'm not sure what that says, but the interest is clearly there.
More than 20,000 fans at T-Mobile Arena on Tuesday. Most of them were Iowa Hawkeye or Indiana Fever fans. Whoa. You came from Canada to
Saskatchewan, Canada.
That's a long walk.
We drove 23 hours.
Whoa, hold on a second. To see, I'm going to guess. Let me guess.
I was just trying to get out of there and didn't see her and kind of collided pretty good. And then we kind of just both fell over. He came and apologized to me, so I really appreciate that. And that's just what comes with it.
Let's talk about our second topic today. The introduction of 3-on-3 basketball in the Olympics has created discussion among fans, especially considering the United States' current poor standing in the sport. Despite its potential for excitement, many top players are afraid to participate. The U.S. team has notable players like Canyon Barry, Dillon Travis, Kareem Maddox, and the standout Jimmer Fredette, who is recognized as the world's top 3-on-3 player. Fredette's career has been marked by highs and lows. He gained fame in college but struggled in the NBA before finding success overseas, notably averaging 40 points per game in China. As the 3-on-3 format evolves, the U.S. faces challenges in assembling a competitive team. Current NBA players are ineligible due to FEA regulations, as participation in sanctioned events is required for Olympic qualification. This restriction, coupled with the overlap of the 3-on-3 season and the NBA season, limits player options. Former NBA players like Dwight Howard and D. Wade would be excellent choices, but involvement is complicated by league commitments. Pay for 3-on-3 athletes is a worry, as Olympic athletes generally receive minimal financial support. Despite the games generating considerable, the U.S. offers only $37,000 for gold, making it difficult for athletes to support themselves financially. The landscape indicates that former NBA players who are already financially secure may be the best candidates for the 3-on-3 competition, though participation may be hampered by commitments to leagues like Ice Cub's Big Three, which forbids Olympic involvement. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has attracted criticism for his role in the United States' poor performance in 3-on-3 basketball, particularly when the team lost 21-6 to the Netherlands. The NBA's influence over USA basketball is significant, with roster decisions often swayed by sponsorship interests such as those from Nike. This has caused frustration among players like Jaylen Brown, who feel that politics affect team selections. Ice Cube's Big Three League, which has gained prominence since its inception, is seen as competition by the NBA, leading to claims that the league would prefer the U.S. team to underperform rather than give recognition to the Big Three. In response, Cube has announced a cash prize for the gold medal winning team to compete against Big Three All-Stars, which could elevate the event profile. However, current NBA players are ineligible for Olympic competition due to FBA regulations limiting options for a competitive US team. Former NBA stars may be ideal candidates, but their participation could be hindered by league commitments. Additionally, the financial difference in Olympic athlete compensation raises issues, as many athletes struggle to make ends meet despite the Olympics generating substantial revenues.